It was kind of Iowa City's Paris Opera. And I say that because if you go to the Paris Opera, the whole line is, it's the place to see and be seen. And so in some ways, I'm going to say the mill offered that as well. And it was a gathering place for artistic people, writers, musicians, philosophers, free thinkers, all kinds of people tended to congregate there. In terms of the clientele, it became later a music venue. And I think that people gravitated there because they were looking for authentic experiences.
I remember the mill from when I was a little kid, because I was being raised on music, basically. And I know I fell asleep on the benches in the booths there more than once, I'm sure. I remember hearing poetry in different languages in there. I can remember checking out a lot of blues shows. I was really into blues music. And I used to play pinball there. I used to go listen to music on the jukebox in the front room. So there were so many different sides to that place.
Is it worth the burning truth? I had picked up this drummer in Chicago and my vocal harmonist that I tour with, and we met at the mill and played this show, and I just have this memory of like it being filled with longtime family friends and like old high school buddies and just like full of people that I really loved. And it's rare that kind of show never happens where you have a whole room full of people that have known you for like 20 plus years. And so I just remember feeling just a massive amount of love.
The mill always felt like a great, safe hometown gig where you could drive across town and experiment with sounds or formations. I'm sure I played in there solo and duo, tried reading poems in there, all kinds of things. And the mill was a great place for that.
All kinds of people hung out there. They had great music there. They had national touring acts, but folk acts, country acts, all different kinds of roots music. Even though Keith would gladly rail at me and insult me and in all kinds of new and creative ways, there was a real welcoming thing there. The staff was great. Just everything about it. You never felt like, it was never too cool for school. It was not like the kind of place where you'd be intimidated walking.
Traveling is awful nice. Oh, leaving town's good and traveling is awful nice.
There was a lot of 19th century red brick buildings that lined the streets where the new, what you call the Old Capitol Mall is. There was a bunch of like really seedy bars that were along the west side of Clinton Street, and they actually shared some of the character of the mill. So there were fun places to explore and go in and learn new things about how this town evolved, how its history evolved, and what the connections were between the university and those buildings.
The place itself, the physical space, it's like anything. I mean, it's going to be gone eventually, like we're all going to be gone. So you got to let go to be able to, I think, fully appreciate what the place meant.
When
I got here this evening, even though we're neighbors, and Greg asked me if I'd say something to the mill. First thing I thought of was a Hafiz poem, a Persian poet from the 12th century, who said, and in the spirit of Hafiz, he would say, Hafiz says, "It's always a danger to those on the path."
The general level of comfort that I felt at the mill was just something I just don't necessarily experience at other venues. But like the people there, the bartenders, I always like knew people from high school, or there's just like all these pieces of life just kind of floating around the mill. It's just been really constant.
If Greg Brown was playing, it's like every old hippie in town came out of the woodwork. You know, people who live very private lives that you didn't ordinarily see on the streets of Iowa City, they would come for that show. And so it's the human interaction is what I really remember, and the wonderful people I met or heard perform. That's what I'll always carry with me.
My God, Keith. All right, Keith. There's 16 ounces in a pound, 4 pints in a quart, 20 gallons in a Ford pickup, 14 heavies in a maybe, untold notes in a harp. A ball joint makes more use than a regular unknown joint. And we love your joint, Keith. We love your joint. God damn it, we're gonna miss it. Amen.
I miss it, you know. I mean, that was the site of a lot of, you know, my youthful rambunctiousness. You know, it'll always kind of have, you know, sort of bittersweet quality for me. But it was a great place. I think the mill did us right, and I think we did it as right as we could, you know.
Thank you, Keith, for your long wind. Thank you for your knowledge. It is useful. Thank you for this bar and for this joy.
There were so many people involved in kind of trying to feed the flames of that openness thing and let it evolve at the same time, and I think that's important. So I think that can keep happening even though the building is gone, and even though the kind of formal aspects of what we think of as the mill aren't there anymore. I think the spirit of it is very resilient.
Many, 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 many friends have gathered here as a testament to your efforts, Keith and Pam. These friends will continue to gather and 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 gather. We will do it in your honor, milling with one another, milling and feeling and reeling and probably talking too much. God bless this place, the mill. We need to eat now. Hey, waiter.